Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, Uniquely Reagan Handcrafted Cards. I'm coloring in my critters for my roulette card that I'm going to upload this weekend. I've got my critters stamped on a mixed media paper pad from scrapbook.com, and I'm working with the stamp and die set from the Stamps of Life called Picnic Time. I've got the turtle and the monkey from that stamp and die set. So on the left side of my stamp and paper here, I did stamp both the monkey and the turtle on the mixed media paper pad, and I colored them in with watercolor pencils. Then I'm doing the ones on the right side here with some alcohol markers. I didn't really care for the look of the watercolor pencils very much, so I'm doing a second set with the alcohol markers, and here in a little bit you will see me use a colored pencil to do one element of the turtle and the monkey both, because in Craft Roulette there are parameters, and this week's parameters were that you had to make a card for a special friend or a special someone, actually. So I have a sentiment at the top of the screen here. It says, "So glad we're friends." That did come from the Stamps of Life. And the second parameter was that you had to use some critters. You had to use fruit colors. So I am coloring my critters in lime, and the paper pad has a lot of blueberry. It has lime, it has banana, and candy colors. It does come from the Wishing You Happiness collection from the Stamps of Life, and that pattern paper has blueberry, Pacific, poppy, candy, sunshine, mint chip, green apple, and twig. So all of those colors are pretty much represented in that multicolored pack there, and I'm going to use both of the sheets that you can see there. I'm making two different cards. So I am going to upload one of the cards into Craft Roulette into the gallery. And so as I continue coloring here, you're going to see me use all of the parameters. So as I get out the watercolor pencils, I'm going to color in the turtle's belly with that watercolor pencil so that I can meet the Craft Roulette parameter to use a pencil. I could have gotten out a pencil stamp or used a die cut pencil, but it really wouldn't have been appropriate in the setting of what I'm going for here, which is kind of a picnic themed scene. So you can see the turtle has a picnic basket and the monkey is eating a piece of cake. So using a pencil in this kind of scene wouldn't probably not have been appropriate. So I do want to meet that parameter by using a pencil, and I'm going to color in the belly of the turtle and the monkey both with a colored pencil here. And I am using the watercolor pencil. I do kind of use the watercolor pen there laying on the next to the watercolor pencil to blend in some of that watercolor pencil to get it to blend out. So it does kind of work. I try not to get into the magenta ink to smear that around very much. So I'm going to go ahead and color in the hat of the turtle and that alcohol marker there. And I really enjoy coloring with alcohol markers much better than with the watercolor pencils. And it's probably just because I need to practice more with the watercolor pencils and use the appropriate ink for the project. As I'm finishing up die cutting out my critters, I'm going to explain the next part of the card making process. I saw this card base on SBC Fest on scrapbook.com on Friday, and I really thought it was a cool card. I hadn't seen this type of card in base, I don't really think ever. Um, it has a panel on the right side of the card that folds back, and I've seen card bases like this one where the front panel is cut off, but not one where the right side has a panel that folds back. So on my sentiment here, it says, "So glad we're friends." This came from the Stamps of Life. It has a background die, so I cut out the detail die and put it on adhesive sticker paper, um, double-sided adhesive. So, and then I'm burnishing that down. So it did create a sticker once I cut it out of the white paper, and I have it on that green background die cut, so that it will really pop once I've got it on the frame. So you can see at the top side of the left side of the screen is a frame die that I've cut out with a scallop edging on the inside. So over here on the left side of the screen, kind of outside the frame, is where I have my card base. And so what you do, how you cut that out, you can look on SBC Fest. Laura Graff, she had this as her first card on Friday. So you, on the right side of the card base, it's just an 8.5 by 5.5 card, score it down the middle at 4.25. And then on the right side, you'll score in from the right at 1.25. And then on the left side, you will cut off from the left side in 1.25. So my two matte pieces for this card, I have a 1-inch by 4 by 5.25 piece, 1 by 5.25, and remember here I'm making 2 cards, so that's why I have 2 pieces here. So and then my panel that I'm laying down here is 2.75 by 5.25, because that panel we cut off 1.25 inch, so that leaves a 3-inch piece here. And then on the right side, I have a 1-inch piece by 5.25, and that panel folds back because you scored it. And then my frame, I cut 2 pieces here, and I'm going to glue them together. And then that's kind of what my scene is going to go on to. And when Laura Graff from scrapbook.com created this on SBC Fest, I thought it was a really cool card. So I was like, oh, I have to recreate that. And then the parameters really worked with this for craft roulette. So it wasn't limiting in any way for the type of card in what you're creating. So I thought, oh, I'll recreate this. And the inside piece, I'll just save those for another day here. So by layering up these 2 panels, it does give it a little bit of weight, so that it will be able to hold the 2 critters, basically. So you can see I'm building my second card, and it's just the offset of the other card using the opposite pieces, basically. So nothing is really going to waste here. So now I'm going to glue the frame only on one side. It's going to hang loose on the left, but I'm gluing it to the right side. And making sure it's all glued down. And I'm putting my sentiment up at the top. So I'm going to die cut another piece here so that we can get another heftier background. So I've gone over to my die cutting machine. I went ahead and cut a second piece to go behind that background on the sentiment, just to give it a little bit more weight. And I'm going to glue strategically around that frame. So I'm setting up my second sentiment just to get that heftiness on there. I did lay it under that acrylic block just to make sure it was fully adhered down. And you can see here in a second, I'm going to glue the sentiment just in a few places to make sure that I don't adhere it down to the the base of the card in a place I don't want to. I'm going to clean up a little bit of stray glue and that I've got in a place I didn't want it. I just put some glue under the S of sew, on top of the D in glad, and then on the side where it says friends, at the S on the end of that, and then over in the W of we're. So I'm going to put the monkey on the right side and just glue it on the right, and then at the head and the tail. And the turtle, I'm going to glue that on the right as well. So he's hanging off to the left of the frame, and the monkey is on the right side of the frame. So I'm going to set up my second card here and do that on the same manner. I'm gluing the frame on the right side of the card on that fold back area. You can see exactly where I'm putting my glue on the sentiment so that it doesn't get attached to the card where I don't want it. I'm going to, oops, it fell off. So I'm going to just check the placement of the glue to make sure that I don't have it where I don't want it, and then use my towel to make sure to clean up any stray glue. You can see here how that panel folds back when you open the card. So I hadn't seen that before. I've seen it where you cut off the front side and have that card, that 1-inch piece on the right on that fun fold, but I hadn't seen it where it folds back. I really thought that was really fun. So here I'm going to glue the turtle down, just gluing that one side to the frame. And I'm going to make sure there's no stray glue there. And I'm going to glue the monkey down. I'm putting some glue down at the bottom on his tail and then behind his ear a little bit. So I really enjoy the Stamps of Life products. Their images are really cute and they're easy to color up, I think. So I'm going to show a picture at the end of the video of what the cards look like as I finish them. I did go back over the colored pencil with some alcohol markers on the ones that I had on the left at the very first of the video that I had just only done with the colored pencil, the watercolor pencils. And I did go back over those with the alcohol markers, and I think it really turned out a lot better, in my opinion. I am not very good at the watercolor, the pencils, and so it wasn't my favorite look, and so I've got to get better at it and use the right kind of ink. So it's a learning process, and if you don't like it, you just learn to pivot, right? If you've watched Friends, Ross said pivot, pivot, pivot. And you just learn to pivot and move on and deal with your mistakes. And if you don't like it, change it. It's just paper and it's just colors, and no one will ever know, right? So, and I've got these puppy stickers from the Stamps of Life. They came with this card kit. And this card kit was called Wishing You Happiness. And it was the card kit from, I think it was February. So I have only played with this. This was the first time. So I'm taking a little bit of the stickiness off of those puffy stickers with my embossing tool. I hope you enjoyed watching me make my craft roulette card. As I finish up here, I'm going to show you the card first that I'm going to submit as my submission for this week's craft roulette card. It's the one I'm playing with here. The second one on the top right is the one that I use the watercolored pencils on. I'm going to go back over those with the alcohol markers. And I will add some white gel pen to finish those off, which I will show in my final picture. You'll see that in the thumbnail of this video. So I do add the white gel pen to just add some accents to the cards, and it really creates a nice finish. I really hope you enjoyed watching me, and come back and visit my channel again. Thank you for joining me.